Hello everyone. I thought I'd go off on a different idea for a video. I also like to do bobbin lace. Now this is a kit that I sell at my shop. I'm going ahead and probably put some on my website, which is stitchniche.com. So you can see how it's spelled. That's how stitchniche.com is spelled. A lot of ladies like to do bobbin lace. It's just another form of lace making. Back before they had machines to make lace, ladies had to make it by hand, and they knitted it, they crocheted it, they tatted it, and they also did what's called bobbin lace. Now I have 4 different pillows, and each are used in a different way, and I'll show you each of my 4 pillows, and I'll show you some of the individual items that I've made. So let's start with the items. Okay, here's one of the patterns. Let's see if I can enlarge this a little bit. There you go. This one is for a bookworm. It's one of the first basic patterns you learn. It shows you how to connect the edges and how to add spaces in between while you do your whole or half stitch across, giving you the weave. Now, most of these patterns come out of this book right here, which is called Bobbin Lace by Gillian Dye and Adrian Thunder. Excellent book, a lot of basic patterns, and it takes you through them step by step. That's what I love about this book. It shows you how you first start off with just, let me go the other direction, with the basic plait, and then it takes you into making a bookworm, which is, they're showing it here, and they actually give you the pattern in the book, which is really, really great. And they take you through it step by step, which is awesome. And that's what it looks like. Now you can also, then it goes into other things like the torsion ground, and I'll show you some of those too. And it goes into bigger and bigger and bigger things. It just starts with simple, and it just goes and goes and goes. I have this started, I haven't finished it yet. I'll show you that. That's the pattern for it. Okay, let's get back to some of the other things. Okay, the basic torsion ground is nothing but a bunch of little dots, and you just connect your dots as you weave your threads back and forth. That would be like this one here. As you can see, it's just woven back and forth. They call it a torsion ground. Now, if you want to rearrange your colors, you can take your basic pattern like I did here and connect the lines. And when you do that, then you can make it do this. You can see the red goes here and it zigzags down here, and then the black zigzags in between. Or you can, then next thing you learn is how to do spiders, which are really, really cute little things. They actually look like a little spider. They have 6-legged spiders here and 4-legged spiders here. These are all bookmarks. This is how you start, by making bookmarks. Then they get you into these zigzag areas. I'm not even sure what they call them, but it's kind of a filled in idea, and it comes out like this. I'm trying to get it to where it's easier to see. I didn't bring any light paper out. Maybe this will work. Yeah, that's a little better. You can see the red zigzagging through the torsion ground. Of course, you end it with a tassel because it's a bookmark. And from there, you go on into other types, like this one has little hearts in it, whatever shape you want to do. And then one of the other pillows you do makes like lace that's very long, like this one here. Actually, this is the pattern for it. I made this piece of lace what they call a roller pillow, because the pattern goes around a cylinder, and you just keep going and going and going until you get the lace the length you want it, which is really, really great. And then there's other pillows where you can make things like little doilies or coasters, where you actually start here and you work in quadrants as you go around, and when you get finished you have a cute little square. Unfortunately, I forgot to bring that one home, but I'll show you when I have started. Okay, let's go to the first pillow. Now the first pillow is what they call a cookie pillow. The pillow is a complete circle. This is the pad I put underneath, and I'll show you that in a side view. But when I made this pillow, my husband cut me a piece of wood. This is like a pressed fiberboard, and I made my cloth with elastic on it, because this is where I could take it apart if needed. Now, when I first started, I wasn't sure the best thing to use, so I used that. It's called Great Stuff foam. I sprayed it all over my board, and then I used a knife and I shaved it so I have kind of a dome shape. So it's high in the middle and it tapers down. Now when you use great foam, you get all these air holes in it. So that really wasn't the best choice. but then I put a piece of felt over it, and that kind of helped it a bit. And then plus when I put my cover back on it, I had a nice, this is kind of a twill, like you'd make men's pants out of. It's a really nice, heavy, durable fabric. And as you're making your patterns on your cookie pillow, you just keep turning your pillow as you need it. Now, if you wanted to make one on a cookie pillow that's long and continuous, you can. What you would do is get your pattern. Let me see if I can find the one I had. Here it is. And you attach it to your cookie pillow, and you would follow the pattern. Of course, this isn't the exact pattern for this one, so I'll kind of set it off the side. And you'd work your bobbins, actually from the top, this way. You start your bobbins at the top, and you start weaving as you went down, and when you get to the bottom of your pattern, you would unhook all your pins, slide your pattern up, reconnect your pins at the same point, like this would be here and this would be here on your pattern, and then work it down again. Then take all your pins out, slide it up, and just keep doing it until you have it the length you want, which is kind of annoying because that's how I started doing one, not this one, but a different one, and I really didn't like the way it was turning out. So I did a little bit of investigating, and I found another pillow. They called it a block pillow. Now this usually goes underneath your bobbins, but I put it on top of the bobbins so I could show it to you differently. Now this pillow, you get some of these out of the way, as you can see down here at the bottom, has a little block in it. So as you work your pattern down, as you see I'm doing, once I get to the bottom here, I would slide this up, take the big block from up here, set the big block down here, and then put this underneath of it, while I put this pattern piece that's up here and connect it down here and line up all my dots, and then I will continue working it. And as you continue, you just keep flipping your blocks until you get your piece as long as you want. This is the scarf. I haven't finished it yet, but this is done with spiders and half stitches, and then this is like a rose ground. It's actually in this book. If you go to the very back of the book, there it is right there. No, it isn't. Where did it go? I know it's in here somewhere. I should have marked it. It would have been easier if I marked it there. Showing a little bit out there. We can see where, I'll bring it up. You can see where the two pieces join, because when you get to a certain point, then you have to put another piece in. You join your other piece, continue down, take your top piece and put it to the bottom, and just keep going. And that's in this book here. And it has a lot of other stuff in it too, which is really, really nice. Now, when I made this pillow, I didn't use that foam. I didn't care for that foam. Instead, I got the, what do they call it? The insulation, the flat wall insulation that you would put in between walls out at Home Depot. And I just set the pieces on top of each other, and then I smoothed out the edges. So I don't know if you can see it too well. Let me move this down so you can see how it kind of tapers on the edge. That way your bobbins have a place to slide down to. And each piece of foam is covered with some fabric. And then where you connect it together, you just hand stitch around. It's kind of hard to see because being brown, it's really dark. But that made a great pillow, and it's easy to hook your pins in because it's very soft. But now this part does wear out because the more you use a spot that has foam, it eventually breaks down. So you can always buy some more foam, redo your blocks, and then keep on going with this particular type of pillow. Or you can use the foam in the cookie pillows, because the cookie pillows also have the taper, which I showed you before. And when you glue you can't glue it because you don't want to put glue. You just set the pieces together and then you shave them off so you get your curve. So that wall insulation from Home Depot is great. It does the same thing as this. Now I have two other pillows I'm going to show you. This pillow is a square one. I like it because I can make the little coasters or the little motifs like that one big square one I showed you. I wouldn't make one this big on it, but you could, because what it allows you to do as you finish a section, you can turn your pillow and do your next section, and then you can turn your pillow and do your next section. And it's tapered on the sides just like the other. Now this one, instead of using the spray foam or the insulation, the wall insulation, I used cork, and I just built it up in the middle and I tapered it down on the sides. So I'm seeing how I like this one. And I decided to make it square. That way, as I turn my work, my bobbins have a place to go all the way around, and it has the same angle too to keep the tension the same. So this pillow is working out nice for this. You could also use this for a continuous one, like the lace, or you can use it for just a bookmark. You could use it for any type of a design that would fit on your pillow. So the designs are unlimited as to what works the best for you. The last one I have is what's called a roller pillow, which I'm finding I'm really enjoying working with it. I bought this one from a lady in Germany because I wasn't quite sure how to make it. So to me, it worked out better. As you see, I have 50 bobbins scattered across here, and each of them I have little pins I put in between each section. Like this is the scallop that you see right here, and this is the end hem area, and then the zigzag area and the torsion ground, and then you got that little spider there in the middle, and those are within these pins. And as you're working with this, you can roll it. So you've got a continuous pattern on here. It just keeps rolling around and around, and you keep working your pillow, your design, and you roll it again, work your design, and roll it again. So it gives you a lot of working room without having to take your pins out and reset everything. As you can see, this piece, I think I have it, it's about almost 3 foot now, but it's a great way to do a wider piece of lace in a continuous mode. You can't go much wider than about here, but it depends also on the pillow. There's so many different ones out there in the market. If you're interested, just search Bobbin Lace pillow, and all types will come up, and the bobbins will come up. There's multiple types. There's the wooden bobbins, as you've seen in some of my projects, and then there's the bobbins with the beads. The reason for the beads and the reason for the bulkiness at the bottom of the bobbin is for weight. You want to be able to have a little bit of tension on your threads as you're working. Otherwise, without it, they'd be all crumpled like this, and it'd be harder to see which bobbin is which. So that's why I either use the beaded bobbins or I use the wooden bobbins. They all work for you depending on what you like. Here's another small piece that was done years ago. I was so proud of it, I stuck it there. See, this is what the pattern would look like that you would put on the cylinder part of your roller pillow, because you put on the cylinder, it would wrap around like this. And then as you roll your cylinder, of course your ends line up. And you just keep going around and around and around and around, and you don't have to stop and take your pins out. So that's why these cylinder ones are really, really great if you like to do long stretches of lace. Now the next thing I'm going to show you is threads. You can buy the very expensive threads out of Europe, which work awesome. Or to start with, you can start with something as simple as DMC, can't hardly see it, DMC pearl cotton. I started with size 8. All of my bookmarks that you see here, I did with size 8. It's a little bit bigger. It's nice and flexible until you iron it, then it gets stiff. But it's a great to start with, and as you work your way down through it, you can switch over to the DMC size 12, which is definitely not as thick as the size 8. Then you can go on down to the size 20 in Atlantia, or use the fine threads that they offer through the different websites, or you can go down to size 30. You can go down as far as size 80. Size 80 is the same thickness as regular sewing machine thread. See, this is, I'm talking about your sewing machine thread. As you can see, it's really, really fine. That's about a size 80. So it gives you an idea. The higher the number, the thinner the thread. And as far as making your pattern pieces, you photocopy them out of the book onto 65-pound cardstock. Or you can take a file folder and cut it to fit the size of your printer and stick that piece of file folder in your printer. That's what this is. This is a file folder. And once you have it printed on your file folder, get some clear, what do they call that stuff? Contact paper. And put clear contact paper over the surface. It gives a little bit of a shine, but also gives it a lot of stability, and you can reuse your pattern over and over again because you actually put straight pins in each of these holes as you're during your design. Now, I didn't plan on showing how to do bobbin lace, In this video, I was just showing what bobbin lace is and some of the different things that you can accomplish with it. If you want me to show you some of the basics, I'll be very happy to, but there's so many videos out there on YouTube now, starting with the first item, which is a plait, all the way up through the real complicated laces like this thing on the front of the book. I hope you enjoyed this, and it gives you a little food for thought, something else to learn. You can start with a basic kit, or you can go to one of the videos that I've seen on there, how to do a bobbin lace without the actual supplies. It shows you other alternatives that you can use to see if you like doing the bobbin lace before you actually go into the expense of buying a kit or buying all the supplies individually. Thank you for watching. Tell your friends, and I hope you give this a try. I forgot to show what those little rectangular pads I made were for. Let me go around to the side and you can see. See, I placed it under my pillow. That way my pillow has an angle down, which also adds more tension to your bobbins when you're actually working. And then you can move your bobbins to the left or move them to the right and still be able to work down through the center because you've got your pad underneath your pillows. Now roller pillows, as you see here, they're usually built on some kind of a box frame, and as you can see, the pillow is slightly angled to start with, so you don't have to add a pillow underneath of it. You can make your own pillow by making a little rectangular bag and filling it full of rice, or you can take a hand towel and roll it up into a cylinder, and that will do the same thing. Just a couple of different ways you can add a little bit of an angle to your bobbin lace board as you're working on it.